Today, we're diving into a really fascinating story of transformation. It's about how an entire nation is trying to reboot a critical industry, not just by writing new laws, but by trying to rebuild the one thing you can't legislate: trust.
So, to really get why this revolution is even happening, we first have to understand the problem it's trying to fix. And, at its very core, it's a deep, deep crisis of public trust.
I mean, seriously, think about it. The whole idea of insurance is basically a promise, right? A safety net. But what happens when you feel like you can't trust that net? When the very system that's supposed to catch you feels like it might just let you fall?
Yeah, this is the ideal. Insurance is supposed to be this umbrella, a shield against all the unexpected storms life throws at us. It's meant to give you peace of mind when you're feeling your most vulnerable. That's the promise.
But the reality on the ground in Nigeria, well, it's been a totally different story. For years and years, the industry has been up against a massive wall, a profound lack of confidence from the public.
So how did it get to this point? Well, it really boils down to this nasty, vicious cycle. It starts with a history of unpaid claims. That, in turn, creates this perception of shady or even fraudulent practices. And all of that just feeds this widespread public distrust. It's a really tough cycle to break.
Okay, so in response to this crisis, the government had to step in with something big. So let's take a look at the official solution on the table, the 2025 Reform Act.
So here it is, formerly known as the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act, or NIIRA 2025 for short. This thing was signed into law on August 5, 2025, and it's designed to be a total game changer, a complete overhaul of the nation's insurance rules.
And the ambitions here are huge. I mean, sure, part of it is just cleaning house, consolidating old laws, but the bigger picture? This is about strengthening the entire financial sector and helping to fuel Nigeria's massive push to become a $1 trillion economy.
But here's the kicker, and this is so important. As powerful as a new law can be, new rules are never the whole story. They're really just the starting line.
And this brings us right to the core argument of our source material today. The real change, the lasting transformation. It doesn't happen in the law books. It happens with the human element.
And this quote from John C. Maxwell just hits the nail on the head. Real change isn't just about handing someone a map. It's about having leaders who know the way, who are willing to walk that path themselves, and who can inspire others to follow.
So here it is, the central thesis. The true, lasting success of this whole massive reform effort hinges on one single thing: ethical leadership. Without that, all these new laws are just words on a piece of paper.
Okay, so ethical leadership is a great phrase, but it's a bit abstract, right? What does it actually look like in the real world? Let's break down how you turn that idea into an actual blueprint for integrity.
So here's where the rubber meets the road. The analysis lays out 5 concrete strategies. First up, you've got to invest in ethics training, and not just the one-time thing, but ongoing. Second, promote transparency. You have to create a culture where people feel safe calling out misconduct. Third, and this is arguably the big one, leaders have to lead by example. Your actions have to scream integrity. Fourth, you need robust compliance programs, systems that actually monitor and enforce the rules. And finally, number 5, it all comes back to this. Always, always put the customer first.
Now, it's really important to know that these ideas aren't just being pulled out of thin air. They actually line up perfectly with a global consensus on how to do this right. Let's take a quick look at some international best practices.
And this table just lays it out so clearly. It doesn't matter if you're looking at the big regulatory bodies in the United States, or the United Kingdom, or the major international groups, the language is universal. It's all about putting clients first, treating customers fairly, and demanding integrity and transparency.
So let's zoom out and bring this all home. Why does this intense focus on ethics and leadership matter so much? Well, because at the end of the day, in this industry, the real currency isn't money, it's trust.
And hey, the payoff for getting this right, it's absolutely massive. Ethical leadership is what builds those strong, unbreakable client relationships. It's the engine for sustainable, long-term growth, not just quick profits. And crucially, it's what attracts the investment, both local and international, that the sector needs to thrive.
I really love this image because it captures the whole point perfectly. True reform isn't just about building a new building with new rules. It's about planting seeds in good soil, the soil of trust, and carefully cultivating that growth over time.
And that leaves us with this final, big question to think about. When you look at a case study like this, you have to wonder, can you ever really legislate trust? Can you write a law that makes people believe? Or does real, lasting change always always have to start with the integrity and vision of its leaders.